Good morning, everybody. How is everybody today? I know it's a little early for some, depending on where you are. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Minnie Nath and Sandra, here early. Good morning, Darlene. Sis is on her way in. Good afternoon, Marriott Faye. Good morning, Cindy. There she is. Good morning, Sis. Good morning, Kat, Georgie, Cat's Eye. Good morning, everybody. I know a lot of you have been waiting to see this. Good morning, Karen. My sis is going to have a little bit of a rough morning. She didn't sleep yet. She's been awake all night in some pain, so let's send some prayers to her. Good morning, Diane, Heather, Annie. Good morning. I'm going to ask you guys, please smash that like button on your way in. That way it lets everybody know that we are going live with the order. Yeah, Darlene, it's making me kind of sick too, so we're going to go over it and then we're going to have a little bit of discussion throughout, and at the end we'll have a little bit of a discussion about it. I want to know what you guys think. Good morning. There's my sister. And yes, thank you for everybody joining. All we ask, if you guys haven't noticed, there are a few things different. I have taken off the monetization until I get everything straightened away with income tax. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a long process, but it may be a little bit anyway. So I've been getting a lot of emails from people asking about their memberships, because a lot bought memberships, you got refunded for your memberships. Nobody's kicked you off. It's just I disabled everything until I can get this sorted, but I don't want to talk a lot about that this morning. Good morning, Renee. Tina, Strawberry Wine, good morning. Every time I see you, Strawberry Wine, I get that song stuck in my head, Strawberry Wine. Good morning, Mama Shan Shan. Good morning, everybody joining in. I'm going to ask, if you haven't yet, please smash that like button. Good morning, Alley Cat. Renee. I don't know who I've said good morning to yet and who I haven't, so you know my memory, you guys. So good morning. If I've missed you, I'm sorry. You're very welcome, Renee. Yes, never let go of hope. So we're going to get into, let me just bring it up here. We're going to get into the probable cause affidavit and the ruling on that. I'm not impressed. Nana, they're doing all right, I guess. Still having a little bit of a problem, but I'll know more when I go back again and get them rechecked. But so far, I'm not sure if the headaches are from my eyes or from, because I haven't been doing a lot on the computer, you guys. So I'm not sure if it's from still using the computer or if it's from the COVID shot, because I finally got my COVID shot. So yes, Alley Cat. Alley Cat. I was, you can ask my sister. I was watching the court docket and where they place everything, the continuing record. I've been watching it like a hawk for since his last day hearing on May 27th, waiting for the judge to make a ruling on this. And the longer it went on, the more worried I got. Thank you, Janice. Janice says, good morning. Hope you're feeling better. I am feeling a lot better in a lot of ways, but in other ways, yes, I wish they would too, Janice. Because it seems everywhere else they're checking all the fields and everything else, it's not bringing nothing, right? And the one place that I did the other day do another, just read for myself to see if that was still the place, and it's still showing me that's the place. So why they haven't gone in there and checked, I don't know. Tina, I agree. It isn't over until God says it's over. And yes, I believe he's going to meet karma. Okay, so 35 people in here. Please smash that like button. Let people know that we are live. As you can see, there is no super chats or anything. I've disabled them. I've also turned off monetization on my channel for now until I can get things sorted. So if you guys do want to make any kind of donations, I'm going to ask that you send it to my PayPal. That's still up and running. When my sister gets a chance, she will throw my PayPal link. But you can find my PayPal link in my About section on my YouTube channel. And in the description of any of my videos, it's also in there. So anybody that would like to make a donation, you can do it there. Yes, the message you just sent me, sis, yes, you can post that. So we got 40 people in here now. I can't see how many likes because I've got the order up on my screen, so it kind of blocks it out. But all I ask, like I said, I have turned off all monetization, including super chats and super stickers. So I'm asking if you can please smash that like button, maybe share this out where you can. It's all free to do, and I would really greatly appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into this order. Okay, I've highlighted a bunch of stuff. I will go through it slowly, so if you guys do want to read through all of it, because they do mention a lot of different cases that they are referring to, etc. So if you do want to read the whole thing, I will go through most of it, but if you want to read the whole thing, you can just rewatch it and pause it so you can see it. That's why I've made it as big as I have, so you guys will be able to see it. Okay, so are we ready to get into this, you guys? Everybody ready? Everybody can hear me? If you can, please smash that one. Smash the like button too, please, to let everybody know that we are live, and then we are going to get into this. Can everybody hear me okay? Please hit 1. If you can see the affidavit, and if you can hear me, hit 1. Okay, perfect. I'm not using what I usually use. Okay, great. Thanks, Sus. I just got a mic connected this time, so. Okay, so let's get into this. So this was filed yesterday. As soon as I seen it filed, I jumped on and made a post about it. I haven't really seen anybody else covering it yet, which surprised me, especially by now. I thought that everybody would have seen this by now. So let's get into this. So this was filed yesterday at 2:30 Colorado time. So it would be around 4:30 my time. So this is an order on the motion to limit public access. Okay, so the defense filed a motion to limit public access to the arrest warrant affidavit. And this is the prosecution had no problems with it being released, but the defense did. Okay, so the judge looked over everybody's input on it, which included media, the prosecution, and the defense, and this is the order that he came to, which I'm not impressed. This matter is before the court on defendant Barry Morphew's motion to limit public access to the arrest warrant affidavit filed May 5th. The people filed a response, as did a non-party media consortium, okay, which is the media. The court is not required to hold a hearing on the motion. The court has reviewed the filings and issues the following order. Oh, Plunder did cover it? Okay. Okay, so the rule of law. Court records in criminal cases are presumed accessible to the public, but access may be denied pursuant to Criminal Penal Code Rule 55.1A6. Okay, so I'm not going to be repeating that rule, this rule up here. I'm not going to repeat it throughout the whole read because it just gets repetitive. If the court grants a request to limit public access to a court record, the court must issue a written order in which the court specifically identifies one or more substantial interests served by making the court record inaccessible to the public or by allowing only a redacted copy of it to be accessible to the public. 2, finds that no less restrictive means other than making the record inaccessible to the public or allowing only a redacted copy of it to be accessible to the public exists to achieve or protect any substantial interest identified. And 3, concludes that any substantial interests identified override the presumptive public access to the court record or to an unredacted copy of it. Additionally, court records may be made inaccessible to the public pursuant to other state rule regulations or Chief Justice Directive, which is that criminal penal thing 55.1, which is in the Colorado Criminal Justice Records Act. A part of Public Records Act addresses access to and disclosure of criminal justice records. And then they cite, this here is just citing another case that they're basing a decision on. So if you want to read through that, you can. Okay, it says the official custodian of any such records may make such rules and regulations as are reasonable necessary for the protection of such records and the prevention of unnecessary interference in the regular discharge of the duties of the custodian or his office. Okay, so they cite another case here and another rule. Okay, and it's to consider the balance of public and private interests relevant to the inspection request. Okay, so the pertinent factors include the privacy interest of individuals who may be impacted by a decision to allow inspection, the agency's interest in keeping confidential information confidential, the agency's interest in pursuing ongoing investigations without compromising them, and the public purpose to be served in allowing inspection, and any other pertinent consideration relevant to the circumstances of the particular request. I'm just going to read some of your comments too as we're going through this. Yes, I agree, Janice. And it's really the only area that, going right off topic here, you guys are sorry, but I want to address this because I don't want to lose it in the comments. with regarding the Orrin and Orson West. I don't know why they have not gone and searched there. Okay, so the custodian of criminal justice records may also deny inspection for any of the reasons stated in 2472-3051. That such inspection would be contrary to any state statute. The inspection is prohibited by the rules. And I mean, this just goes on. I've highlighted a bunch of stuff that is relevant. Like I said, if you do want to read through all of this, you can, but I want to try and save my eyes for the important factors here. They're just going over, you know, reasons why they can deny the inspection, okay? And if disclosure would be contrary to the public's interest, which I don't agree that that disclosure is going to be against public interest. The public wants to know. The public, it funds the police. The public funds all these search efforts and teams. The public are the ones who have totally funded this whole investigation, including now the courts. Okay, and being that the public showed more interest in finding Suzanne Morphew than her own husband, I think his interest should be secondary. Just my opinion. And I'm really, really, really interested in knowing why Barry Morphew is getting this special treatment. If you look at the Letitia Stout case, okay, there was a lot of stuff in there too. It was a lengthy probable cause affidavit also. There was some pretty gory stuff and things in there that the police found and whatnot, but we'll get into that at the end. But they released hers. So it's almost like he's getting some kind of special treatment here, which leads me to believe he's charged with trying to influence some public officials. Okay, he's been charged with that, and those people were listed. But what about other ones that haven't come forward? Are there any? Are there other officials that he influenced that may have a hand in keeping this sealed? We don't know, because everything is being kept from the public. I feel the public has a right to know. So, with that being said, keeping this from the public is going to raise a lot of backs. But let's continue. They cite another one in People versus Holmes. The court found that the affidavits of probable cause would not be records of official actions which must be disclosed, but they constitute records of investigation conducted by sheriff, district attorney, or police departments, rendering denial inappropriate under another subsection. They are nonetheless criminal justice records subject to discretionary disclosure. Okay, so these are all the cases to which the judge referred to in making his decision. Okay, so here is the judge's analysis. Okay, the defendant argues several substantial interests exist where supporting limited access to the arrest affidavit. These substantial interests are preventing the release of inflammatory information contained in the affidavit, protection of the alleged victims, the Morphew daughters, not impeding the ongoing defense investigation, preventing a potential violation of Colorado Condition 3.8, and preserving Mr. Morphew's right to a fair trial by impartial jurors from the surrounding community. So again, why is Barry Morphew getting special treatment? I get it that one of the daughters is still under 18, but so was Gannon's sister, and that affidavit was leaked. Okay. They say that there could be harassment and everything towards the daughters or anybody who is going to be called as a witness. Well, that's the same in the Letitia Stout case. What about Al? A lot of people were accusing Al, right? So why is it that Barry's, and I'm not trying to be cold on this. I'm just, this is for comparison only. Why are Barry Morphew's daughters more important than Al Stotch's daughter and Landon's daughter? Okay. Why is it that they don't want inflammatory information about Barry getting out, but they didn't rule that in Letitia Stout's, right? So that's why I am making the claim that I am, that he's getting special treatment. If you're going to go on the analysts here of what the judge made his decision on, preventing the release of inflammatory information contained in the affidavit. Okay, there was a lot of that too in the Letitia Stout affidavit, but it was released. Protection of the alleged victims, the Morphew daughters. Okay, there was victims in this too, which was Gannon's, I forget what the daughter's name is, Landon and Al's daughter. I forget what her name is. She would be a victim, and she's a lot younger than these girls and not as able to understand things as these daughters are because they are much older. Okay, so right there, inflammatory information. There was tons of that in the Letitia Stout case too, but it was Lena. Thank you, Darlene, and Harley. Yes, so there was Harley and Lena that were alleged victims too, because they lived in that house. They were brought into that case. Harley by being told by her mother to go and get cleanup stuff, and Lena, you know, that's her brother, right? So there was, you know, victims younger than these girls in that case, but they released it. There was inflammatory information in that case, but they released it. Okay, there was ongoing investigations in that case, but they released it. Okay, we'll go on to preventing a potential violation and preserving Mr. Morphew's right to a fair trial by impartial jurors from the surrounding community. Same as in the Letitia Stout case, but it was released. So this is why right here, you guys, I am saying, why is Barry getting special treatment? There was just as much coverage in the Gannon Stout case as Suzanne Morphew case. And I'm not minimizing either one. I'm saying they were equal. The public was just as enraged over what we knew before Gannon was even found, that Letitia had killed him. There was just as much outrage and public interest in that case as there is this case. They're both in Colorado. So why is he getting special treatment? There was lots of people that were interviewed there also, people that came out with video footage, etc. What's going on here? Which, because this has not been released, and I'm not even in the US, leads me to question, and this is my personal only, who else did Barry Morphew influence that has not come forward, that is playing a hand in keeping this sealed? Darlene, yes, Darlene is saying that in the Letitia Stout case, the affidavit was leaked. Yes, but it was scheduled to be released within days. This is different, you guys. Wait till you see this. They don't want this affidavit released until after his proof evident presumption grade hearing. And even then, they may not release it. Okay? With the Letitia Stout one, they said they wanted to give a few days for Landon and Al and everybody to go over the affidavit before it's released to the public. So it was a matter of days. It was released a couple days earlier because it was leaked. Okay, but it was still scheduled to be released. This is not. So you are keeping the public who pays the police wages, the investigators' wages, the court pays it. It's you guys that are paying for this, but you're being kept from it. And why is he getting special treatment with this arrest affidavit not being released? Even if they redact a lot of things in it that maybe be that aren't admissible in court, redact it. It's apparently 130 pages. Is it going to take some time? Yes. But why did you push so hard? Why did this judge push so hard for the prosecution to turn over disclosure when they legally had 21 days from the date of the arraignment to turn over the disclosure? The judge pushed it and only gave them 4 or 5 days to turn it over. Why is this defendant being given special treatment? Why was it pushed so fast to get this disclosure out? When by law, the prosecution had 21 days from May 27th to turn over all disclosure. But it was pushed. The judge ordered it to be turned over, which means they probably had to work 15, 16, 17-hour days all through the weekend. Okay, but it's not right. It is not right that this has not been made public. He's getting special treatment, in my opinion. Yes, and it's going to cause, yes, Mama Shan Shan, and this is going to cause the community to question, okay? And the reason I say that is because Barry has been charged with influencing people in positions of authority. So, with this not being released now, how are we to know that there isn't more that he has influenced that may have had a hand in keeping this sealed? In my opinion, it's going to leave a lot of questions out there. Okay, so many, these people came forward saying he tried to influence them. There was FBI agents, etc. Okay, they've admitted to it. Are there any others that haven't admitted to it, that got a good sum of money or something? And this is in my opinion only. But it's putting that question out there by not releasing this affidavit. It is in my mind anyway. I don't know if it is in yours, but it is in mine. Now, the reasons, like I said, these are the reasons why the judge is not releasing it. Preventing the release of inflammatory information. Well, they did that in the Letitia Stout case without a blink of an eye. Protection of the alleged victims in the Morphew daughters. Well, what about Lena and Harley? They didn't. They still released it in the Letitia Stout case. Not impeding the ongoing defense investigation. Well, Letitia's defense were still investigating, but they still released it. Preventing a potential violation of Mr. Morphew's right to a fair trial by impartial jurors. Well, same thing applied for Letitia Stout, but they released it. Okay? So let's continue. For the reasons that follow, the court finds the nature of the affidavit and protection of the Morphew daughters each serve as a substantial interest in justifying the continuing seal of the affidavit. Okay, so are you saying that Lena and Harley shouldn't have been protected? But the Morphew daughters, for some reason, are more important. This is what I'm getting from it, you guys. And I mean, to each their own opinion. This is my opinion. It's like, what makes them, and I'm not trying to be cold towards the Morphew daughters, but what makes them more important than Lena and Harley? Okay? So, I mean, that's kind of, it doesn't sit well with me. First, the court has concerned about the amount of information contained in the 130-page affidavit. The affidavit is by far the lengthiest and most detailed affidavit the court has ever seen in almost 30 years of experience with criminal cases. See? If this is going to be an issue, I think there's something in the criminal justice system that's off, that needs to be, I guess, corrected. Because you can't find that the nature of the affidavit has to be sealed to protect the Morphew daughters when you get an affidavit that was released in the Letitia Stout case that was horrific, but they released it. And what about Lena and Harley? You didn't take their feelings into considerations regarding the release of that, but all of a sudden the Morphew daughters are taken into consideration. And that is one of the main reasons why it's being sealed. So it's good. I'm telling you, if this was Canada, there would be an uproar. It's like, why is this being kept from the public? The public has a right to know. You can't apply the law to one family when you have not applied it to another. You cannot use this as a finding that the Morphew daughters need to be protected, but you didn't give the same for Lena and Harley in the Letitia Stout case. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. A significant portion of the information in the affidavit was not relevant to the court's finding of probable cause and possibly not admissible. Fine. Redact that. It's really, hey, I worked in a law office for many years. There's not, even at 130 pages, it would take me maybe a day to go through it and redact everything that cannot be put out there. Right? If it's not admissible at trial under the Colorado rules of evidence, redact it. It doesn't take rocket scientists. And anybody, even a paralegal as myself that worked along with criminal defense lawyers, it's not that hard to do. They're making it out like, oh my God, it's 130 pages. It's going to take us 6 months. No, it would take one good paralegal to redact it within the day. It's 130 pages. It's not 1,000. Yes. 75 watching, 17 likes. Please smash that like button. As you notice, my videos are no longer monetized. I do not have super chat or super stickers. I've deactivated those too. So yes, please smash that like button. It's free. Okay, so I believe that they listed here where this is redacted. I believe they listed here some issues that they were concerned about. Now you can redact it here, but you can't redact that in the probable cause affidavit. Very easy to do. See how that's done? This is not an exhaustive list of the type of information in the affidavit for which the court has concerned. Okay, so let's, oh yes. Okay, before we get to this, because there's a part of this, you guys, that I want to speak in length about. Okay? Release of this information prior to input on redaction from the parties and prior to the defense beginning their investigation could hamper Mr. Morphew's ability to effectively prepare his case. Really? Well, why wasn't the same consideration given for Letitia Stout? Everything that they're saying in this, and this is still within Colorado, why is Barry given this special treatment where Letitia Stout wasn't? It's very contradictory. A second substantial interest is the prevention of harassment or abuse or intimidation of the victims, Mallory and Macy. Well, what about Harley and Lena? Everything can be compared because there are children in both cases, but they released everything in Letitia's, including pictures of Gannon's bed and the blood and everything else. I don't get it. This is very fishy to me. Okay, so a substantial interest in the prevention of harassment, abuse, intimidation of the victims, Mallory and Macy Morphew. What about Suzanne? Suzanne's a victim. and their right to be treated with fairness, in respect, and dignity. What else I don't see in here is if you're going to use that to keep this affidavit sealed, why isn't Suzanne's brother and family listed there too? Why is this just Barry's girls? Barry. Where is this substantial interest and prevention of harassment, abuse, or intimidation of the victims, Mallory and Macy? What about Suzanne's family? What about Suzanne's brother who came to Colorado and did an extensive search for his sister? Is he not a victim? What do you guys think of that? Cat's eye, exactly. This is about Suzanne. So this doesn't sit well here with me either. So the victims, Mallory and Macy Morphew, and their right, and I'm not saying they're not victims, but the victims, Mallory and Macy, and their right to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity. What about Suzanne's brother, sisters, family? What about them? Why aren't they listed there? Why is it only Barry and the daughters listed there? You know what else I don't see listed there? Barry's mother. Let's get into that. Ding, 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 ding. Tick, 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 tick. These young women are in an unimaginable situation and should be given time to process what has occurred and the time to review or decide not to review the evidence alleged against their father. It probably says here, their father, Barry Morphew, and what's this? What's redacted here? Is there somebody else's name? Is there possibly the grandmother's name there? If you guys remember, his mother was attached to him at the hip. If you remember back into Tyson Draper's video, she came out of nowhere and jumped into the other side of the truck. This is at the same time that Barry Morphew, Tyson had caught Barry Morphew coming up from the creek area soaking wet. She was with him. And I believe a lot of that video is going to come into play. I agree. But my point is, they list the victims as Mallory and Macy. There's more victims than that. There's Suzanne's brother, Suzanne's family. For God's sake, her father died before her body was even found. Thank God he has been reunited with her now. But all he wanted before he died was for them to find Suzanne. That was taken from him. Okay? So this really hits my core when they list the victims only as Mallory and Macy. And that they're using this as a reason not to release the affidavit. When, let's take the Letitia Stout case. There was victims there too. There was Al, there was Landon, there was Laney, there was Harley. But it was released. They weren't given this same option, okay? They did give Al and Landon a couple days to have this affidavit in their hands to go over before it was released to the public. A couple of days. Mind you, somebody went behind the scenes and leaked it anyway, but it was still scheduled to be released in a couple days. This is not. To me, and this is my opinion, this is special treatment. And the way that they have worded this, that they're saying the only other victims here are Mallory and Macy, do not sit well with me. And I don't know why Colorado, the people of Colorado, are not losing their shit. And I'm going to say it because I'm not monetized anymore anyway. I've taken it off. Why they have not lost their shit over this. Okay? Let's continue. Because there's a point here that I want to bring. Is this here? Who else's name is redacted here? Is this the grandmother? We don't know because it's not been released. Okay? So, by them not releasing this arrest affidavit, even if they had to redact some stuff, which would take a day by a good paralegal, you don't even need a lawyer to do it. You need a paralegal. The lawyer says, okay, anything to do with this, this, and this, redact it. Then they hand it to the prosecution. Are you good with this and the redactions? If the prosecution wants to redact a little bit more, boom, 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 they redact it, done. Okay? But the prosecution had no complaints releasing the whole thing unredacted. So I don't see why they would even redact anything else. So a good paralegal, it would take them less than a day to redact what needs to be redacted in this, even though it's 130 pages. I don't get it. Okay, so here there's something that raises some eyebrows because I believe there's another name here. Could it be the grandmother, Barry's mother, that seemed to be connected at the hip? I don't know. Okay, please smash that like button, you guys. Let everybody know that we are going over this and what the concerns are with it. So it goes on to say a general release of the affidavit at this early time would not give them the opportunity to make their decisions and process what they learn, especially considering the youngest daughter still resides in the small community of Salida. Well, you know what? So did Lena. So did Harley. Like this, keep that in mind, what I've said. This is a total 180 compared to, they didn't take any of these considerations when they released the Letitia Stout affidavit. And this does not sit well with me, that they're only listing Mallory and Macy as victims and their right to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity. What about Suzanne's brother, Andy? What about Suzanne's family, sisters, families, aunts, uncles? What about them? This to me is despicable, that this judge only listed Mallory and Macy as victims. Okay, let's continue. Second, no less restrictive means exist. Okay, so they're saying secondly, no less restrictive means exist other than to keep the affidavit suppressed in its entirety. Yes, you could redact what's not admissible in court. So don't tell me that there's not a less restrictive means other than to keep the whole thing suppressed. Redaction of a 130-page document will be time-consuming process and one the court cannot meaningfully complete without the input and involvement of both parties who are currently involved in the early stages of these proceedings and conducting internal interviews. Well, I call BS on that because the prosecution has already said that they have no qualms with it being released. The only ones that have concerns about it being released is the defense. So that's a lie. A 130-page document would be time-consuming process. Well, the prosecution hasn't fought for it not to be released. They said they have no problem with it being released, so count that out. The only ones that would have to redact anything is the defense. Like I've said, a good paralegal can do it in less than a day. Okay? So, I don't get this. And they didn't give the same consideration in the Letitia Stout case. Okay, if you guys want to go through and read this, you can. It's just they're quoting other cases. Third, allowing the parties time to review and understand the amount of information in the case overrides the public's presumptive access currently. Really? It doesn't take them more than a day or so to go over the 130-page affidavit. Entering accurate redactions is critical. Like I said, you can do that. They keep bringing this up. A good paralegal can do it within a day. Also critical is each side conducting its review of the evidence and conducting its internal investigative efforts during the early phases of this case. It's been going on for over a year. Barry knew it was coming. Nothing in there should be a shock. Okay? These factors also affect the ability to ensure protection for the Morphew daughters. See, they're always bringing up this protection for the Morphew daughters and other witnesses. Okay? Wasn't done in the Letitia Stout case. They listed even Harley and everything on their list of witnesses. Why is he getting special treatment? Why are the Morphew daughters getting special treatment over Harley and Lena? I don't get it. Okay, you can't protect one in one case without protecting the other in the other case. Therefore, under Rule 55.1, public access to the affidavit filed in this case is denied. The court also denies access to the document as a record under the CCJCA. The affidavit is not a record of an official action, but is a criminal justice record subject to discretionary disclosure. They go on to cite another case. Finally, the court finds the affidavit is a record of investigation conducted by law enforcement as contemplated by 2472-305. As such, it can be suppressed from public view if done in the public's interest. Well, this has not been done in the public's interest. I think the public is going to be outraged. While the investigation in this matter has been ongoing for a little over a year now, it consists of numerous witnesses and circumstantial evidence. Thus, witness credibility will be at a premium. The risk of such harassment and intimidation, coupled with the preliminary nature of the investigatory report, I can't speak today, I'm upset, support suppression as to maintain the integrity and efficiency of the investigation during the early stages of the proceedings. So I'm just reading some of the comments here. Where's my here? Okay, Patty Cake says, I think one reason the judges allowed it to be sealed was to protect the witnesses. Yes, I agree, okay? I'm not saying what, no, I am saying what he did was wrong. And this is why. You can compare this case to the Letitia Stout case. If you didn't protect or feel the need to protect witnesses there, and that was just as gory as I can assume we're going to find out in the Barry Morphew case. If you look at the Letitia Stout case, they showed photos of little baby Gannon's. Well, he's not a baby, but to me he is. He's only 11 years old. The blood on his bed. They gave evidence or indications of what was used to kill him, the different ways he was killed, etc. There was so much given out, and the witnesses, they put the witness list on the internet. Okay? So when you can compare the two as almost the same kind of things that are being asked, where everything was released in the Letitia Stout case, but everything is being sealed in the Barry Morphew case. That is what I'm saying. If you're out to protect witnesses and protect minor children, then why wasn't it done in the Letitia Stout case? Why is Barry's daughters getting special treatment, and why are only his daughters listed as victims when there's more victims than that if you're going to rely on the victim card? Because Andy and everybody would also be a victim, right? So they're picking and choosing and using the Morphew daughters, which I don't think is right, okay? Because you look at the Letitia Stout case, there was Harley and there was Lena, who was very young too, but knew that Gannon was killed. She was old enough to understand that Letitia killed her brother, but this was still released. So that's why I call BS on this, and I say that there's special treatment going on. So, and which makes me believe, I'm going to say it again, that Barry has also been charged with influenced public officials. Okay, there's some that have come forward. That's how he was charged with it. Some were FBI, some were CBI, or CDI, and local police, people in a position of authority. These are the ones that have come forward. That's why he was charged with that. Okay. Are there ones that he influenced that haven't come forward? By not releasing this affidavit makes us wonder. Okay. When you're not treating the two cases that are very similar the same, then we've got to question that, people. We have to question why everything was released in the Letitia Stout case, but not in Barry's case. There was minors, Harley and Lena, in the Letitia Stout case. They lived there. They were present on the property where, okay, I don't got to go into all that because I'm just going to get all riled up again. Very similar cases. Why was all of Letitia's stuff released, as gory as it was, but they're not releasing Barry's, even if they have to redact it? Okay? Why are they only listing Mallory and Macy as victims when there's so many more? And only Mallory and Macy's, by the sounds of this, feelings are being taken into consideration. What about the Letitia Stout? What about Harley? What about Lena? What about, Al and Landon and the whole family there? Were they not important? Is that why they released it? Is that what you're saying? That's what this is saying, that Barry and his daughters are more important than anybody in the Letitia Stout case. That's what I'm getting. And that's my opinion. Let's go on. Okay, so you can read through this if you want. It's just, he's going over the different cases and the risk of such harassment and intimidation compiled with the preliminary nature of the investigation, support the suppression of this, but it didn't in the Letitia Stout case. Hello, Missy T. Hello, everybody that has come in. I'm sorry, I've been paying attention to the affidavit on my other screen. Yes, Pink Panther. It turns my guts to see the special treatment he is getting because he has money to pay for the bigwig lawyers, money that is in part Suzanne's money. Exactly. And I'm telling you, I don't know why people are not in an uproar over this. Like I said, okay, it's a 130-page affidavit. There's stuff in there that's not admissible in court. Redact it. I was a paralegal, legal assistant for many, many years. I've had to do stuff like this in criminal cases. It's not that hard. It would take a good paralegal or legal assistant less than a day. To me, he's getting special treatment, and the public should be in an uproar over this. Like, I don't see why people aren't angry. And I'm not saying, go after them and this and that. What I'm saying is everybody should be writing the court. Why is this so different than the Suzanne Morphew case? Why were these considerations not taken in the Suzanne Morphew case, but are in the Barry Morphew case? Why is he seeming to get special treatment? I would be asking about that. Maybe that's something that the media, because they can appeal this decision, I think this is something that the media should be questioning. So that's why I'm giving my commentary. And it's in my opinion only. I believe that the public has a right to know. Okay, the affidavit was filed it was in effect when motion D7 was filed. We can't see any of this, okay? There's a lot of things in this case that are being hidden from the public. So I can't see this motion. This motion rule governs the court declines to require defendant submit a proposed redacted version, okay? So the court is not even requiring the defendant to submit a proposed redaction version of the affidavit because Rule 55.1 requires that when only parts of the subject court record are requested to be sealed. So being that the court sealed the whole affidavit, they're not going to say to the defense, okay, you don't want this released because of this, and this. They're not even going to say, okay, we'll redact the stuff that you don't want released. because it could be not admissible in court. Redact it. They're not even giving the opportunity to do that, to release it. They just want a full blanket seal. And it says it right here. The defendant seeks full sealing of the subject record. So even things that are admissible, we can't see, which goes against the public's right to know. Okay, you can read through all this. This is just talking about include statements from Mr. Morphew that are potentially exculpatory, and the materials and thus required to be included in the affidavit. The court disagrees. So the court disagrees that some things that the defense are saying that shouldn't be in there are in there. One of them, I guess, was Barry Morphew's statements to the police that are potentially exculpatory, and the material and thus required to be included in the affidavit. The court disagreed that, that shouldn't be hidden, but they're calling on a blanket seal of it anyway. So this standard supports defendant's argument that the affidavit in this case is unusual because it contains considerably more information than what would be sufficient to establish probable cause. Okay, then redact everything that's not sufficient to establish probable cause. Problem solved. To the extent that people argue that a probable cause affidavit does not need to conform to the rules of evidence, the court agrees. Right. But the defendant's argument that the affidavit contains excessive information is bolstered by the inadmissibility of that information under the rules of evidence. Fine. Redact that part then. Thus, the court's concern for its release at this time. Finally, the people offer no response to the argument that the Victims' Rights Act supports sealing of the affidavit. The court does not find it improper for the defendant to raise it. It is the job of the prosecution and the court to assure victims and witnesses to crimes are not harassed, intimidated, or abused. Okay, but you didn't put that into play when you released the Letitia Stout affidavit. The court agrees at this time keeping the affidavit sealed serves a substantial interest in the protection of the victims in this case. Right. The only thing that we can cover and stream live is the arraignment. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to cover the probable cause hearing. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. What other blocks are going to be put on the media or the public? So if you want to read through this, you can. He's just giving some cases that he's referring to, why he made his ruling are in regards to these cases. Okay, the amount of prejudice is relevant and is more significant given the length and breadth of this affidavit. The media also refers to the availability of other options as discussed in People versus Botham, and argues that unless the court is able to make the required judicial findings on the record that each of those alternative means is not adequate, there is no bias for blanket sealing. This court believes it has appropriately balanced the concerns. There are not boilerplate concerns, but are ongoing concerns based upon the current stage of proceedings and various participants. We can hope. We can hope, Des. Suzanne is a victim. If the daughters have nothing to do with this, then they are victims too. But so is Suzanne's brother and Suzanne's family. But they're not listed as victims. Des, when they released Letitia's affidavit, they didn't have a body yet either. Where'd that go? May Four Seasons. I'm saying the same thing. So the court's only worried about the daughters, but why weren't they worried about Letitia's daughter and Al's daughter when they released the affidavit? See what I mean? There's two separate things here going on. Why is Barry getting special treatment? Why are Barry's daughters the only ones being listed as victims? Suzanne's family is also a victim. Suzanne's brother is also a victim. Why are they not? And this is what I don't get, you guys. I don't. Yes, it was leaked by an employee, but it was scheduled to be released in 2 days anyway. This is not scheduled to be released. Wait, here's the conclusion. So let's go over this. You guys have had a chance to read through this if you wanted to. Like I said, anything that I am skimming through is because he's just referencing other court cases, referring to give an insight as to why he chose what he chose. The court orders the arrest warrant affidavit filed on May 5th to remain sealed and suppressed from public view. So the only people that are allowed to see it are only judges, court staff, parties to the case, and if represented, their attorneys in that case, and other authorized judicial department staff shall have access to the original court record. I hope somebody leaks it. This order shall expire 7 days after the conclusion of the proof evident presumption great hearing and preliminary hearing, which are currently scheduled to be completed August 24th, 2021. So he wants this sealed until 7 days after August 21st, which would bring us into September. Before the expiration of this order, the court, and even then, even though this order here to seal this arrest affidavit expires 7 days after the proof evident presumption great and preliminary hearing, even though this expires, before the expiration of this order, the court will consider further requests or argument as to why or why not this order should continue, and in what form. So he's, even after the proof evident presumption great, Lord King Barry is going to have the opportunity to give further requests or arguments to why this should remain sealed. Hail to Barry. Are you kidding me? Yes, Des, that is what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. Why is he given this special treatment? So, even though this order will expire 7 days after the proof evident presumption great hearing and the preliminary hearing, King Barry can apply to the court to consider further requests or arguments as to why or why not this order should continue. What the hell is going on? Yes, Christine, we want justice for Suzanne and not these smoke and mirrors. May Four Seasons says the judge is also afraid of being able to get an impartial jury. Wait a minute. If that's the case, then why was Letitia Stouts released? She murdered a child. Everything was released, so I don't buy that. I don't buy it. Right? And this is what makes me sick, is the defendant has more rights than anybody else. Like, this makes my blood boil. So Pursuant to Criminal P55-1, order limiting public access to the court record or to any part of the court record pursuant to this rule shall be inaccessible to the public, except that any information deemed inaccessible to the public under this rule should be redacted from the order. The court will issue a suppressed version of this order accessible only to the individuals listed in Rule 55-1. It will be simultaneously issued as a redacted version for public access. So they're talking about this order here, and they're talking about even the order. In the order, look up, back up here, they've even redacted stuff from the public in the order itself. Okay? So that's where we're at, you guys. Now I can pay full attention to the chat. The girls aren't minors either, have not shown any concern or for their mother. That may well be the influence of the father on them. They're the entire basis of justice. People must see it being done. Yes. This goes against the people's rights. And you're going to see this. I believe, I'm going to say it now. I haven't, somebody told me Plunder has done a video on this. I'm going to go and watch her video because I want to see what her insight is. I haven't seen anybody else cover this yet. So I want to see what they get from it. I'm anxious to see It's a Crime. Linda, she's a fellow Canadian of mine. I'm anxious to see what she has to say about this too, to see if we all are under the same opinion. I believe when you start hiding things from public view, the public start questioning justice. So much already has been hidden from the public regarding the Suzanne Morphew case, and you got to compare it to an equal and like case. So the only case that I can compare it to as equal and like is the Letitia Stout case, because that case is also in Colorado. She killed a child, but there were other victims. There was Lena and there was Harley. Okay, which you can compare to the Morphew girls. There was also the families and such. Like, there was gory details in the Letitia Stout. They showed pictures of poor Gannon's bed. Okay, and that was released. I know it was leaked early, but it was scheduled a couple days later after the leak. It was already scheduled to be released to the public. So let's compare. Why didn't the justice system take into account Lena and Harley's feelings? Huh? So I'm calling BS on this. I'm calling special treatment being shown to Barry, which he does not deserve. They're saying because of ongoing investigations. Well, there was still an ongoing investigation too in the Letitia Stout case when her affidavit was released. They still had not found Gannon. Okay? When that arrest affidavit was released, they had not found Gannon yet. So I don't get it. I don't think it's fair, and I think it's a good slap to the public. They have slapped the public in the face. The public has a right to know. Now, if there's stuff in there that is inadmissible in court, fine, redact it. But the court, the judge, is not even giving that option because the defendant doesn't want that option. Well, if the defendant didn't want the public to know, maybe he shouldn't have killed his wife. If the defendant didn't want his daughters to be harmed by what's in the affidavit, maybe he shouldn't have killed his wife. If the defendant didn't want the public to know what lengths he went to cover his wife and still continue to cover his wife and where she is, maybe he shouldn't have done it. Okay? So why is the court giving this defendant so much special treatment after what he has done? He didn't give Suzanne the right to live. He didn't even give her a proper burial. He doesn't give her family the knowledge of where she is. The daughters aren't screaming out for their father. Please, Dad, please tell us. Please. So why are they getting special treatment? Where's Suzanne's justice? Where is the public's right to know what monster we're dealing with? The public's funding it all. The public is the one that were out there along with Suzanne's brother searching on their own dimes to find Suzanne. Barry knows exactly where she is and will not give it up. Why is he being given this special treatment? If Barry said, okay, you got me, I did it, here's where she's buried, let her family go and get her and rest and give her a proper burial, let her rest in peace, but for doing that, please seal the affidavit. Okay. But he's not giving nothing and being given blanket immunity almost with this release. Justice? Fair? Where? Where is the fairness in keeping this affidavit sealed? Freedom flag, thank you. He should be given 0. You have been caught and you still refuse to give up even where her body is. Just like Letitia Stout did, but her affidavit was released. I do believe that she's been moved too. It's come out in my reads. Dear Karma, higher power, help us all with Suzanne and closure in the truth. Amen. Gary Two Shoes, I agree. Des says we can go way above the DA that's handling Morphew case and attempt to reach out to either county or state representatives and or whoever's the highest authority. It's not the DA. The DA had no objection to it being released as. It's the judge. The judge took Barry's pleas. Please don't release this. It's going to harm my daughters. Please don't release this. Please don't. That's what happened. It's the judge that made the decision. The DA was all for releasing it. So, I do believe it's going to be challenged. I do believe the media is going to challenge the court's decision. And I hope that when the media does do this, I hope that anybody that is able to partake in backing the media in this should do so. And I do believe that the public can write letters to their local state representative. That's how I think you guys can fight this, because it's the public's right to know. I think everybody should be writing to their state representative saying, what is going on here? Let's compare the Letitia Stout case with this one. There was kids there that were victims, but it was released. There's so many things that are similar, yet it was released. And I think that should be brought into it. The court's brought into a lot of different cases and the rulings on those cases, and this is why he's making his ruling. Okay, well, what about the Letitia Stout case where things were released? That could be a defense in that, okay? But I do believe that the media will take this a step further. And I hope that they do. And I think all of us should be standing behind the media and writing to the state representative in support of this being released. Because I think that this is not balanced. I think it's biased and I think it's unfair. I do believe that this can go to a higher court for an appeal on the judge's decision. I know we can do that here in Canada. So I am assuming, and I'm only assuming, that it can be done in, I believe the media can fight this. Amy, why won't the host mention Freemasonry? Because I'm not getting into that. I'm not giving them any media attention. No, I won't. I don't talk about them, Amy, because of my own beliefs regarding the Freemasons. I'm not going to give them any airtime. Hopefully you can accept that. Yes, something is way off. Something is way off. Okay, Lena says they fear that witnesses are threatened. Only Barry would threaten them. Yes. If people knows who the witnesses are, it will protect their lives and remain sealed. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Letitia Stout case again. They put the whole list of witnesses, including Lena and Harley, who are minors, on that witness list. They released it in the Letitia Stout case. And Lena is a minor. Lena is under 10 years old. And Harley at the time was underage also. But they released their names in the witness list in the Letitia Stout case. Amy, if there's any proof of that, I would suggest maybe email it to me and I'll look into it, but I'm not going to put anything on my platform that is not verifiable. Right now, I know he's getting special treatment somehow, some way. I've not been able to verify as to why. These are questions, and that's why I'm putting it out here on my platform. In comparison to the Letitia Stout case with the Barry Morphew case, why are there such enormous differences? Why is one getting special treatment over the other? So unless, yes, do you have any proof? Yes, unless you have proof of that, please, I'm not going to deal with that. And I hope that that can be respected. Freedom Flag says, why did the hotel room smell like chlorine? Does it do anything to a body? I think it's chlorine breaks down blood. So if there was any blood evidence, Freedom, on maybe himself, his clothes, anything, he probably tried to bleach it out. Bleach has been known to disintegrate blood. Lena, only those who threaten him will know the truth. Like I said, in this affidavit, there's somebody's name that is blocked out that I believe, where is it? Okay, I'm going to share this up on my screen again, you guys. Okay, see here, you see right here where this is blacked out? These young women are in an unimaginable situation and should be given time to process what has occurred and the time to review or decide not to review the, okay, listen. They need time to process what has occurred and the time to review or decide not to review the evidence alleged against their father, Barry Morphew. Is there an and is his mother or somebody? There's somebody else in here too. So somebody else has been, I don't know. I'm going to leave that. That's why I've got this line here. There is somebody else in here too. It's been redacted. You're very welcome, Alley Cat. I try to bring you, like I said, I bring things to you that I can verify. Mama Shan says, possibly then Barry's mom should sit the girls down and explain to them. Maybe she can't. There's another name there, you guys. And don't forget, and this is one of the things I'm going to say that opens this up to the public having more, going down and going on goose chases or going out. By not releasing this, you are opening this up to public interpretation. Why was that blacked out? These young women are in an unimaginable situation and should be given time to process what has occurred and the time to review or decide not to review this. The evidence alleged against their father, there's no period there. Their father probably says Barry Morphew, and there's something else there. I assume there's another name. And by them not releasing this, this is giving the public reason to presume that and assume that there is somebody else being charged also. Is that the mother? Who is it? You're getting the public riled up again by not showing that. Julie says, I read an article that he took some tools to a hotel room to clean them, the smell of bleach. Yes, he could have used the bleach to clean blood off of tools. He could have used the bleach. Bleach breaks down blood, so it's not, it doesn't show up on luminol if you use enough of it and cleaned good enough. Bleach will take away blood, depending on how much is there. And the surface, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Okay, I'm just reading through some of the comments here, you guys. Okay, so Tina Monterey says, bleach cleans the blood trail, not DNA. Now that is tough to destroy. Yes, but if they can't see it, they can't collect it, right? Exactly. Yes. There you go. Everybody's with you. Let's start a petition. Who wants to do it? I'll post it. Whoever wants to start that, you email me with it and I will post it. Bruce Davis, no. The arrest affidavit is 130 pages. Yep. I'm with you there, Lena. Julie says, sadly, how the girls feel about this is not the judge's, it should not be the judge's concern. I'm astonished she's taken such a close interest in their welfare. They seem to have coped very well so far. Exactly. And why is he taking 90% of this? The reason why they're sealing this affidavit is out of concern for the girls. Well, what about in the Letitia Stout case? What about concern for Lena and Harley? They didn't do it there, but they're doing it here. And this is why I'm outraged. And they're old enough that they can decide whether they want to look at it or not. So the affidavit's out there. They have to click on it to look at it. They can choose not to look at it. They're old enough. They're not young like Lena and Harley were. They're old enough to say, I'm not looking at it. Why are they more important than the public's right to know? The public's right to know, you guys, is one of your rights, constitutional right. Especially when it's been the public out looking for Suzanne and more concerned about where Suzanne is than the family ever was. I didn't see the girl searching for their mother. I didn't see Barry searching for their mother, for his wife. And they don't even mention Andy, who did extensive searching for his sister. I don't see him listed as a victim. Like, it's despicable. As far as I need a sip of my coffee. I don't think no tools were left in the motel room. He took them. Alma says, if that was my mother, I'd still be searching. Exactly. Now, what has come to my attention too is on Barry's first court appearance, the girls were there. They mouthed, I love you to their father and made their hands in the shape of a heart. I also noticed on the May 27th court date, they were not there. And his mother has not been at either court hearing. So whose name is also there with the evidence alleged against their father and somebody else? And by not releasing this, Your Honor, you are leaving us to come to our own conclusions and starting more controversy in this case and getting the public more riled up by not releasing this and using victims Mallory and Macy and their right to be treated with fairness. Well, Lena and Harley didn't get that. So why are Barry and these girls more important than Lena and Harley? Right. Haven't seen nothing. Mom, where are you? Mom, we're out searching day and night. Mom, we're praying every day. We've seen nothing. Yes. Morgan said it looked like he cleared out his truck rather than leave tools as they needed. Yes, that's another thing. If you guys go back, way back, to just after Suzanne went missing, and I gave my theory. And my theory was he threw the bike, he put Suzanne in his truck after he killed her, and now we know that that is true. We know that this happened between May 9th and May 10th because he is charged with tampering with evidence, human remains, between May 9th and May 10th. I have said all along, I believe it happened on the 9th. So What has come out in his charges proves I was right there. Now, this goes back to like a year ago when I came out with my theory, and that was my theory, that she was killed on the 9th. Now, his charges are stating that he tampered with human remains between the 9th and the 10th. I also said a year ago that I believe he put her body in that truck, that he also put her bike, helmet, whatever else was found in that truck and threw it out as he was going, and then disposed of Suzanne, or took Suzanne and disposed of her in different places, but she was killed on the 9th. I verily believe that. I also said way back then, a year ago, that he put that bike in the back of his truck and he threw it down that hill. So everything that had come out in my read, you guys, is showing to be true. I can attempt to start a petition for this, but I've never created one before, so I've had to do some research and figure out how to go about it properly. Does anyone have any experience with petitions? Anybody? Donna Burns says maybe this happened because it was as requested. It was only requested by the defense. Barry does not want this information getting out there. Barry does not want the public to know what he did. It is the judge's decision whether it's released or not. But what I'm having a problem is the reasoning behind him not releasing it. It's to protect Mallory and Macy and their right to be treated with fairness and respect and dignity. And it's up to them if they want to see this or not, or review it. It's going to cause psychological harm to them. But they didn't take that same consideration when they released Letitia Stout's affidavit. There was children involved there too, Lena and Harley. I'm sorry for the cough, you guys. He's being given special treatment as far as I'm concerned in my eyes. I'm going through the comments here, you guys, so please be patient. Also, they say that there were too many details in the affidavit that is shameful. No, they didn't say shameful. They said that it was exculpatory and inadmissible. If they don't have a body, behavioral details are needed to make a case. I believe they have DNA. They do have DNA. They do have evidence that she is not alive. I can almost guarantee you that. As far as the Bobcat, where did that? Oh, just the chat just scrolled. Somebody mentioned. Okay, he was more in love with the Bobcat than he was. Yes. Okay, here it is. Talk if they threatened to destroy his Bobcat. Any evidence that they would have gotten off his Bobcat, they would have got already. He was more in love with that Bobcat than finding Suzanne. I agree. I'm just reading the comments here, you guys. Yes, thank you. There's a lot. If you go back to my initial first readings, you'll see a lot of what's coming out now came out way back then. And there's another person, Megan from Southern Soul Tarot. She reads tarot, I read Oracle and my Ancestor. She hit on a lot too. And my latest read in February said that this was all going to come to a head in the spring, and that's exactly what happened. Julie says he killed her for money and power. He also killed her because she was going to divorce him. And and he was going to lose half of the assets, and he was going to have that. If you go back into, I think the interview room had a big thing on Barry from the time when he was growing up and such, and how Barry was seen in high school and everything. He was the jock. He was going to be a professional baseball player. I think he was more concerned about his reputation being diminished, as well as because nobody left Barry. Barry always left whoever he was with. Barry always did the breaking up. Suzanne was leaving him. So, and with that, he was going to lose half of everything. More than half, because Suzanne's inheritance, she would have got that back in full, because that's not subject to sharing in a divorce. Yes, I call BS on that too, because if that was true, then they wouldn't have released Letitia Stokes. Angel Girl, I can give you a number for you to reach, text me at, and we can put our heads together and work on it together if you'd like. Yes, that would be great, great, great. Because I don't know the first thing about doing one of those. Yes, we love having each and every one of you here. Yes, it did. Like I said, if you go back and see my prior reads, even going back to right around the time this, like a year ago when this was all going on, everything that was in my reads is coming out. It's coming out now, and it's in black and white. So that's why I'm really anxious to see the affidavit, because I want to see how much of my read did come out. Because I know quite a bit of it already has. Yes. And it did come out in my reads that when we asked Suzanne about how she was feeling and what she was thinking, it did come out that she had wished she had done things differently when it came to leaving him. So, yes, and it is the most dangerous time. I believe that all the assets have been frozen now, Julie. So that's why I think that he bought these other properties in other people's names. So now those people are going to sell those properties, and that money is probably going to be used for his defense. It's called money laundering. There are groups out there that do petitions and send them around the world. Well, you guys get your heads together there and let's get this done. If you haven't hit that like button, I'm asking, please smash that like button. Get this out there. It helps. It helps with the algorithm. Like I've said, you guys have to have noticed by now, I took all monetization off my channel. So my videos are not being monetized, and I do not have the super chat or super sticker or memberships anymore. I have disabled them all. For now, I will enable them later down the line, maybe once I get all this stuff sorted with my income tax and how I've got to claim this, and I need a lot more from YouTube and stuff. But for now, that they are not monetized. So asking that you smash that like button and share this out where you can is greatly appreciated. That's, you know, your guys' ways of helping me out, just to get it out there. That's interesting, Jenna Lee. You bring up an interesting thing there. I don't know. I have no idea, my dear. That would be something interesting to find out if they did have a prenup. But I know it wasn't long after Suzanne went missing, or was reported missing, that Barry gained control over all of her assets and money. And he did it backdooring through Indiana and then transferred it to Colorado, which Colorado had to put on record. So he kind of backdoored that to get that. Everything he's done has been really shady. Yeah. Sally says she doubts very seriously they had a prenup since they married very young. Alma says, I've been subbed and always hit the like since I'm subscribed. Why would I hit the dislike? Oh, thank you. There's always that one, Alma. I have a hater out there. A lot of times before my lives even start, they have no idea what the live is even going to entail. There's already a thumbs down. So obviously it's a hater. It's somebody who's jealous. Pretty cowardly, actually. But it doesn't matter to me because even the thumbs down helps my algorithm. So, and they have to give me a view to be able to hit that thumbs down. So they're giving me a view and they're still helping with the algorithm because like, dislike, it helps with the algorithm. The daughter, so Suzanne was reported missing on my daughter's birthday. Oh, she was reported missing, but I believe that she was murdered on the 9th. Yes. With less than 3 weeks, he had complete power over his missing wife's assets. How he did that, he backdoored it through Indiana because the Indiana property was up for sale before Suzanne was murdered and went missing. So he applied to Indiana courts to gain control over that so they could go through with the sale that was already in the works when Suzanne was still alive. So Indiana gave him that control. And the way that it was worded in Indiana, I think they worded it wrong and ended up giving Barry full control over all of her assets, where it should have been only over that transaction. So when he got that in Indiana, he was jumping for joy because then what he did is he took that order and transferred it to Colorado, and Colorado had to acknowledge it. So then he registered it in Colorado. That's how he backdoored that. Because Indiana at that point had no idea really what was going on, that all these, thoughts that everybody was having about Barry being involved with his wife's murder. Yeah, hypocrites, haters, jealous people, like, I don't know. To each their own. If they don't like me, they don't have to come. Like, I'm never rude or anything to anybody, so to each their own. They've got problems. We should pray for them. Is there any legal way to get the judge to make the affidavit public? I think the media is going to take it to a higher court. That's the only way, is to appeal it. Angel Girl and Alley Cat does thinks you both big hearts. Almost says, oh, and another thing is nephews need to be prosecuted for something. Jaywalking, no seatbelt, anything. I can't stand them. Yes, I love you guys. I love you guys. And yes, I love your photo there. Pain changes people. It sure does. Good morning, TJ. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I do believe that the media is going to appeal this. Trevor Noel, how dare you set up a GoFundMe for Barry's mom? Really? Oh, wow. Darlene wants to know, what do we want to name this petition? The public helps, the public wants help finding justice for Suzanne. That's what I would name it. Or the public needs help with justice for Suzanne. What do you guys think? Yes, justice for Suzanne, but I think we need to put something in there about the public, because the public is not having access to help get justice for Suzanne, right? We the people demand justice for Suzanne. There's enough Facebook groups out there. I don't think Facebook's the way to go. We need a petition that can be sent around the world. And Barry's listed as the oh, I like that one too. Public cries out for justice for Suzanne. I like that one too. Yes, we have to put Suzanne's name in the petition. I agree, Mama Shan Shan. The public is we the people, exactly. So I like that one, we the people. We the people, full disclosure for Suzanne. Ali, we're looking at making a petition that can be sent around the world for people to sign. It's like, release the affidavit. We the people demand justice for Suzanne. That's what I would put. Release the arrest affidavit. We the people demand justice for Suzanne. Yes, that's what I was saying, Chris, that you guys all write to your congressman, etc., and throw a fit about this, because why is he getting special treatment? And we can compare this to the Letitia Stout release affidavit. That's another good one. I think we should have in there, release the affidavit. We the people demand transparent justice for Suzanne. That would be good. Release the arrest affidavit. We the people demand transparent justice for Suzanne. Yes, but what we got to have in there is what we want. We want that arrest affidavit released, right? So that has to be in there with the public wants justice. So however you guys, but we have to put in there that that's what we're fighting for, is the release of this affidavit. Yeah, I see a lot for that one, does. Change.org. But yes, I do believe that we should have in there, because this is what we're fighting for, is the release of that affidavit. We're fighting the defense right now, you guys, because the prosecution has no qualms about it. They said, go ahead, release it. It's the defense. So we're fighting the defense. So we gotta put there that release the arrest affidavit, justice for Suzanne. But that has to be in there, that that's what we're fighting for, is the release of the affidavit. Yes, and then in the description of it, we can put all the stuff like this. No special treatment for Barry, girls or young adults. We can also put in there, well, what we're comparing to is the Letitia Stout case, where everything was released and there was minors there too. So why is Barry getting this special treatment? And a lot of this decision was based on protecting the daughters. Well, why did you release Letitia Stouts then? Why do you have a double standard? Because there was minors in the Letitia Stout one too, were Lena and Harley, and they were put out there on that list of witnesses for everybody to see. So it's a very good comparison that we can use there, and that goes in the body of our petition. Yes, and stuff like this too. By silencing the evidence, we keep Suzanne voiceless. So yes, whoever is going to do this petition, we've got to put some of the stuff, we got to put what we think in there and our thoughts on it, and stuff like this, like Lena just posted, silencing evidence keeps Suzanne voiceless. We need all the information that should be released to the public. If they get away with this, they'll hide as much as they can. Yes. So we have to include in our petition that this is not right. We got to compare it to a like case, which would be the Letitia Stout case, where there's minors there too. There was minor children in there too, which is Lena and Harley. And yet they released the affidavit there and they didn't take consideration there of their feelings. So why is Barry getting the special treatment trying to protect daughters that are old enough to understand, whereas the other ones were younger? But they still knew that Letitia killed their brother, right? So it's very contradictory. And yes, stuff like this, no special treatment for Barry, girls or adults, not minors. Suzanne deserves better. We got to put all stuff like this in that petition too. So you guys may need to go through this live chat as you're doing up the petition and get some of these comments like this and incorporate them into our petition. Yes, both cases are in Colorado and should be fair in both cases. They should be like case should be treated like. Yes, what a family we have here. I've always said I have the best subscribers ever. That's why you guys are my angels of truth. Yes, in the same state, so they can't argue. No, they can't. They're saying that the reason that they did this, and the court has by far blah 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 blah. Where did I see that? The substantial interest is the prevention of harassment, abuse, intimidation of the victims, Mallory and Macy, and their right to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity. Okay, but that wasn't done in the Letitia Stout. How come it's being done here, but you didn't take the same consideration in the Letitia Stout case? You can't have a rule, but apply it only when you want to. A rule is a rule. The public has a right to know. Redact what is inadmissible, and the rest should have been released. There was still an ongoing case, an ongoing investigation in the Letitia Stout case when they released her affidavit of arrest too. So they're very contradictory. Exactly. Justice must be consistent. And that's what we can use. We can use that line, Julie, good line. Justice must be consistent. And we can then again quote the Letitia Stout case and this Barry Morphew case, same state. Why are one being protected and one not? Why is one being given this treatment? I've said this all along, Marie. Barry is using the girls as an excuse so he doesn't look bad. He wants this kept secret. He never wants this affidavit to get out. If Barry had his way, it would be burned and never ever spoken about again. Right. As members of the public, we have a right to know what information is divulged in the arrest affidavit for Barry Morphew. We demand and will continue to pursue justice for Suzanne Morphew. Exactly. Thank you, Des. You summed it up. Exactly, right there. And being that he's being given special treatment, when you can take two cases, the Letitia Stout and the Suzanne Morphew cases, and they are basically almost the same. Except for now, they found Gannon's body after the release of the arrest affidavit. So, you know, why is Barry getting special treatment? Barry told Lawrence Sharp that Suzanne was the only love of his life. I guess that means he never loved any of the girls. Yeah. Oh, but he loves them now because he's trying to protect them now, Patty. Yes. Way to go, sis. That is awesome. Daz, you are getting kudos. I told you my sister was very smart. I can't think as quick as her. Like for stuff like this, it's like she's on it. So that is where we are at, you guys. I'm sure my sister will keep me up to date on this so I can post it. And I actually will probably do a short video on it because videos seem to get out more than posts. Okay, I will, once this is processed on YouTube, sis, I will go through the live chat and get the comments that I think that absolutely have to be in the description of our petition. Well, if he claims that she was the love of his life and he did that to her, that says a lot about him, right? The evildoers of Salida didn't bank on all the attention this would get. I don't think Barry banked on this going the way it just did. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Give me a second, you guys. I have to go and close my windows because it just started a rainstorm here. Okay, it is pouring like crazy. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so let me just scroll back up here and see what I've missed. That's good too. But it should be we the people of the USA and around the world. I'm in Canada, and I know we got a lot from UK here and abroad, and we're all petitioning them. Canada stands behind us too. Well, me anyway. Yes, there's a hashtag we should I'm going to include that. Let Suzanne speak. Release the affidavit. Yes, they do have different judges, Tracy, but they still have to follow the same Colorado law. The judge just can't make up his own stuff, right? Okay, Des says, I would be the point of contact between those of us that are working together on this petition and can share the info accordingly with whoever texts me regarding the petition. That will work. Yes, let's get one person who's actually going to do the actual petition and get it all set up. Anybody that wants to maybe add a point or something to that petition, you can, I believe Des gave a contact number. Des, are you going to be the one that's doing the petition? If you are, then all information should come to you and you should put it together. And then it can be sent over to me where I can put it out there on the channel through YouTube. So we can share that video around. Yes, there we go. Mama Shan Shan had the same idea as me. That judge can make that ruling, but it has to be just. There has to be a balance of justice, which means the judge has to balance the public's right to know with Barry's rights. The public's been left zero right out of it. So that's not a balance of justice. I think he overstepped with keeping it completely sealed. The public has a right to know, and that the justice there is not balanced. Yes, Des is our rock star. There you go. Chris, I agree. Monday morning, anyone who lives in Colorado should get on the phone or email all the public officials you can. That's us fighting back, you guys. All the public officials, send them some emails, show our concern with this being held from the public. It's the public's right to know. I think it will be. Yes. So what is said in this order, Freedom Flag, is that this order is in effect until the end of the proof evident presumption great hearing, which doesn't conclude until August 24th. So it's in effect for 7 days after that date. But within 7 days of that date, the defense can make another motion to continue to keep it sealed, which is totally, totally wrong. Marie Burks, I believe that there is some that needs to be redacted. Anything that's not admissible in court should be redacted. I agree with that. So anything that they are not going to be using in court that may be in that affidavit should be retracted. Redacted. I agree with that, but everything else should be released to the public. Okay, where is this link above for the petition? Darlene, I don't see a link. Dee, if you can work with Des regarding that before we release it to the public, we need to get it all set up and get all our information in there. So I don't want it released out yet, because we're going to have to enter the information and everything in there, you know, to back our fight, right? We got to put pressure on the court system, the judge, and public officials to have this released. And let me be clear, you guys, the district attorney had no problem. The prosecuting office had no problem with it being released. It's the defense. Darlene, I'm not ignoring you, hon. I'm trying to get through. Okay, Darlene, you say the petition is already done. I don't get it, because we haven't even entered all the information into it that we wanted to put. We need to word this and everything correctly for it to be valid. So I don't know how it's already been completed. What? No, I'm not ignoring. I'm just not getting how the petition is already created when we haven't put all the information into it yet. We've got to make our case as to why we want this released. So what do you mean that it's already made? Yes, so that's what I was trying to get done, get Des and whoever's working with her to get this done. And then I was going to do a live on it so we can share that out. So that live could then be shared out as well as the petition. Um, links can't be put in here, Darlene. I'm on StreamYard, so you're going to have to. I'm not ignoring you, Darlene. You're going to have to email me the link. Hello, Sandra, and welcome. So, Darlene, if you can email me, because I can't see the link, it doesn't show up in chat. I'm not ignoring you, hon. Links and that are blocked in chat. So if you can email me at aboveandbeyondancestor@outlook.com, and then we can get going on it if you've already got it up. But I didn't want it up yet until we, like, I hope it's not out there yet, because we need to put our argument for why we want it released. I agree. Exactly, Mama Shan Shan. There's things that need to be put in there for our argument as to why we are doing a petition to release the affidavit. If you just put it up, release the affidavit, Darlene, I'm gonna let you know again, I don't have the link. Links do not show up in the chat. So yelling at me to post it, I can't post it when I don't see it. It does not show up in chat. You have to email it to me. Darlene, the link is not showing up in chat. You have to email it to me. Yes, and we have to get wording right. We can't just throw it up there. So if I'm going to put behind this and put it out on my channel, I'm not looking to get sued. So it has to be worded correctly, and it has to have our argument as to why we're putting out the petition. The link is, I'm going to tell everybody, the link will not show up in chat. Links are blocked in chat. So Darlene needs to email me the link, and then we can go from there. Once it is done and properly worded, then I will go back on and do another live with you guys so you guys can see it. And I will do a post with the link, because I cannot put the link in chat. Yes, it has to be perfect. So we're taken seriously. Okay, thank you, Darlene. That would be appreciated. But no, we can't just put it out there and then edit it later, because once I put it out there, I'm liable. So it has to be worded right. I don't need to get sued. Looking good and being good enough that I'm not going to be sued, and I'm not willing to put that in anybody else's hands but my own. I've got to okay it for it to be put out on my channel, because I'm not going to take the brunt of being sued if something, it may look good, but I'm going to make sure before I post that I can't be sued. Yes. I'm not looking to get sued by anyone. So if you send me the information on it, Darlene. Okay, we got Justice Janie. That's right, Willow. Yes, I have got to go over that petition that you posted before I will agree to it and make any changes that I see need to be done so they can't come back and sue me. Hello, forensic astrologer. Welcome. And that's why I didn't want to jump the gun with just throwing anything up. Like, we've got to make sure this is done properly. Like, we're not just going, you know, after some little thing. We're taking on the justice system here. But nothing is going to, I'm going to tell you, nothing is going to be released through my channel, or my channel is not going to have any connection to it unless I have the final say on what is in there, because I'm not going to be the one being sued if we do something wrong. So if you guys just want to get something up quick and get a petition, go ahead, but I'm not going to be a part of it because I'm not going to be carrying the brunt of putting something like that out with the legal ramifications of it coming back on me. So please, if you're just going to put something up for a quick petition, don't mention me at all, please. If you want it to be part of this channel and part of us, then I need to be able to go over it and whatnot before it is made public. Okay, I got to mute you for a minute so I can take this call. Okay, I'm back, everybody. Sorry, that was Des that was on a FaceTime call with me. Now, this is what I'm going to say. Anybody that's trying to post links, the links are not going to show up. Links are blocked in chat. So please don't scream at me to post a link. Links are not going to show up in chat. There's Des. She's back. So what we are going to do is, before we even make a petition up, we are going, between Des and me, anything that you want in there has got to go through Des. Des will discuss it with me because Des is going to be writing it up because I don't know how to do it. But then I'm going to be reading through that. If you guys want me to do this on my channel, I have got to read through it before it's up and posted to make sure that my ass is covered and they can't come back and sue me. Okay? So that's what's going to happen. If you guys want anything to be included in the petition, please go through Des. Send along to her what you want included in there. We will do the body of the petition first before the petition is even posted. You need the body of it, of what your argument for this petition is going to be. And it has to be on point, and it has to be posted in a way that it's going to protect me putting this out there on my and through my channel. I'm not going to be sued. So that's the way we're going to do it. We're going to get the body of it and our argument for it done first. Then we are going to make the petition up. We're not going to make the petition public until we have the body of our petition and the reasons why and what we are falling back on for reasons for the petition to be released. That's all got to be in the body of the letter before you even do a petition. So everything needs to come to me and Des first. And that's the only one that is going to be released through my channel, because I have to make sure that they can't come back and sue me. Okay, Justice Janie, we did go over this, and I'm comparing the judge's order to the one of Letitia Stout. There was minors in Letitia Stout's arrest affidavit too that included Lena and Harley. They were also called as witnesses, and that was made public. Everything there was made public. Okay, so why is Barry Morphew's girls, and I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be treated with respect and fairness. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying you got to treat these cases fairly. You got to have a balance of justice here, and it hasn't been. Okay, what I'm seeing here is everything was released in the Letitia Stout case. There was a lot of gory stuff released in that, and there was minor children that were involved in that, and it was released. Okay, so the judge is now saying that they're not going to release Barry Morphew's arrest affidavit because there's stuff that isn't admissible in court. Fine, redact that. The rest of the affidavit should have been released, but he's using the daughters, Mallory and Macy, and their right to be treated with fairness and respect and dignity for not releasing this affidavit and continuing investigation. Well, there's still continuing investigation going on in the Letitia Stout case. Letitia Stout's arrest affidavit was released before Gannon was found. So there's a lot of similarities, a lot, between these two cases with very different outcomes, and that's not right. Barry is being given special treatment here, and that is not right. So that's what our argument is going to be with making this petition, and that has to be put in the description of our petition before any petition is even started. Okay, that's the only way I'm going to release it through my channel. Yes. So with that being said, any petitions that have already been started and posted to the internet where people can start signing them, I'm not going to endorse them on my channel. I'm sorry, I can't. I don't see them. I don't know what's in them. no, I'm not going to be doing it. How we are going to do this is I'm going to ask all of yous who want certain things included. We will go over that and see what the legal ramifications of me putting that out there. As long as I'm protected, I will put it in there. If it is something that I can be sued for, I'm not going to be doing it. Okay? Then we will make the petition and put the petition out there to the public. Not until. Thank you. Thank you, Mama Shan Shan. So I'm sorry, but I'm not willing to put my name on something that I have not even seen yet and take the responsibility of possibly being sued. It's me that it's going to come back on. So I'm not doing it. I'm not putting my fate in somebody else's hands. Okay, here's another thing that Des is putting up. With the free app called Talkatone, you will create a phone number for yourself through the app, and you can call or text me from that number. So yes, you can make up a number where you don't have to give out your real number. This is an internet phone number. Nobody can find out any of your information or nothing through this. So if you're concerned about your information being put out there, I suggest you go to this free app called Talkatone and create and get yourself a phone number that you can use that doesn't give out all your private information. Have a fabulous day, you guys, for those who are leaving us. But I do, oh, Southern Soul Tarot's here. Hello, Southern Soul Tarot. Hello, Megan. How are you today? So, yes, thank you, Des. I was just going to say this. Like Des just says, we must ensure that Willow is legally protected from any ridiculous lawsuits. That is why we have to go through me and Des so we can get this together and put it out there so they can't come back on me and sue me. I have no problem in doing this. I stand behind it 1,000,000%, but it has to be done properly. So yes, and here is Southern Soul Tarot. If you have not seen her channel, please go over, hit the subscribe button over there. We do totally different readings. She does tarot readings. Her name is Megan. I do Oracle and my Ancestor deck. And I find tarot very hard to follow, but with Megan and how she does her reads, she makes it very easy to follow. Okay, so if you haven't, please, after this, go over and subscribe to Southern Soul Tarot and give her a like too. Thank you for popping in. Yes, thank you. And I appreciate you guys giving me that respect that I have to protect my butt. I don't need to be sued. I've got enough problems with, that's why I had to take all the monetization off my channel, because I'm running into problems with my Canadian income tax. I didn't put the right information, I guess, in there. And I guess, you know, their questions are, when I said the income I did get from YouTube, that your employer, YouTube, your boss, no one, your occupation, I talked to spirits, went to automatic audit, like really screwed me. So I'm being audited right now because I didn't put in the proper information. I didn't know what to put in there, you guys. I'd never done this before. So right now I've taken off all monetization until I can get that all straightened out with my government here and making sure that I am filing things properly. So that's why you don't see the monetization. Okay, so Southern Soul Tarot Megan will all be covering Drew and Scott Peterson retrial today. So if you're interested in that, head over there after this and go and check that out. Yes, and these girls are not children. I don't understand it either. Like I said, I'm going to be comparing this case because there's another case in Colorado, everybody knows about it, the Letitia Stout case, where everything was released, and there were some pretty gory details in there, and there was minor children, Lena, under 10, Harley, under 18, okay, so that was all released. Why is Barry Morphew's girls being given special treatment? They don't have to. They're old enough to say, I'm not going to look at it. I love you, Megan. Oh, I talk to spirits. Well, they asked me my occupation. I said I talk to spirits. I guess they didn't find that amusing. It went straight to audit. So I'm being audited. Well, I'll deal with it. Oh, God. Oh, I don't know. So anything that you want included in this, I'm going to start doing briefly. There's a lot of comments in here that were given that I am going to incorporate in the description of why and the reasoning why we are asking for everybody to sign this petition. I'm going to compare it to the Letitia Stout release affidavit. We are going to make sure that this is done and every T is crossed and every I is dotted. So my ass cannot be sued. Oh, God. Oh, I read Tara. They were like, excuse me? To what? I play with cards. Yeah, I just said I talk to spirits, and I guess like that's my occupation. I guess they didn't like it. Like next, I'm gonna go walking in there, and I'm gonna say, "What? Do you see me? You can see me?" Really freak them out. Oh, Tracy Greer, you're gonna have to go back and rewatch because I'm not going over all this debacle again. Yes, I can imagine how this is going to stir things up. Yes, your information is very well protected with us. And there's people in chat that can vouch for that, that we don't give out any information. You want information from me, get a court order. So, okay, so with that being said, you guys, I think maybe we should wrap this up. I've got a bunch of stuff. Yes, I've had to go and see an accountant, Tina, because this is out of the scope of my abilities with doing income tax. Yeah, they had no sense of humor. None whatsoever. They didn't even ask me, what do you mean you talk to spirits? They didn't even ask me. So it just went straight to audit. Chihuahua, I agree. It's probably going to have some things in there that we don't want to hear. But there was also stuff like that in the Letitia Stout case, and including photos of Gannon's bed and everything else, and the blood spots and whatever. So there we go. You got a couple right there, Rosie, Mama Shan Shan. They can vouch that your information doesn't go nowhere. I don't ever, Tracy, don't ever use that stuff, especially if you're in business for yourself and stuff like that. I've never used that. I got doing my own my own income taxes down to a T because I've owned several businesses, and this is unlike that because my business is my skip tracing and process serving business that I had was all in Canada, right? All my businesses were in Canada, so it was very easy. But YouTube is based in the US, so it's US income. That's where I screwed myself. I didn't report it right, apparently. And apparently I don't have enough information for monies that I receive from YouTube and AdSense. I've got to get all kinds of documentation from them. So it's just, I don't even know if it's worth going monetized again. I mean, it's not like I was making thousands a month, you know what I mean? So the money that I made basically was on Sundays. with the mini reads. So it's not like it was a lot of money, but any little bit of money, if you get $10, the government wants to know where you got it and they want their tax on it. Tina Montre says, perhaps you should have told them you're the messenger for the ancestors. No, I can just imagine what rabbit hole that would have went down. They would have asked me if I was claiming Native American status. Like, you got to be careful with the Canadian government. They're very picky, I'm telling you. Okay, so I'm going to put this up again. Everything is private. Your information does not go past me and Des. Here is the number that you can text. So I'm going to leave that up there for a bit. So anybody who wants to add some stuff that maybe you think should go in our description for the petition, please send it to that text, this number here, text it to that number, and me and Des will go over it to see if we're going to add it, as long as it does not put me in a position where I can get sued. Ain't cracking me up, those dreams and visions. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I should have done a read on that before, eh? Chihuahua Dawson, welcome. Welcome to the channel. You're going to love it here. You won't find no drama here, no shenanigans, no nothing. The absolute truth here. And the subscribers here are called the Angels of Truth, and they are very respectful. You will love it here. So welcome to the channel. Well, hello, but you're the messenger. I did. I told them, Lori. I said, I speak to spirits. And it went right to audit. It was like they didn't like that answer. Right. Rosie, 100%. You can't just throw up a petition without the backstory. The backstory is what's going to get you the signatures and what's going to cover your butt. And believe me, I am not going to open myself up to a lawsuit for anybody. Yes, we will incorporate as much as possible as long as Willow is protected from any type of legal repercussions. 100%. It is my butt on the line. So there is going to be a petition put up. We will choose a name for it, and we will do the body of the backstory on it. And the reason why we are petitioning for the release of the affidavit, we are going to use examples, like the court used examples why they were sealing it. We're going to use examples as to why we can refute that, okay? Oh, Shan, you crack me up. Spiritual pep talks. Oh, you guys. But yes, so please understand that I've got enough issues right now with the government that I got to deal with. I don't need to deal with a lawsuit too. So this is how we're going to do it. If you wish to go and sign all the petitions, but this one that we put out on the channel is going to be gone over with a fine-tooth comb first, so I can't be sued. There you go, Chihuahua Dawson. Welcome to the Angels of Truth. We are happy to have you here. Mama Shan, the number was put up that you can, but I think you got direct contact with Des anyway, so any input that you would like, please send it along. Chihuahua, you're going to love it here. Only problem is you got to be up in the middle of the night. Oh, Rosie. Yes, depending on what time zone you're in. I'm in the Eastern time zone. Yes, you can remove it now, Des. I think I put it up on the screen for a while, so anybody that wanted it has got it. Let's protect it from the trolls. Absolutely. Please remove it. Yes, I know some people, like Rosie, I think what time is it, Rosie, now there? Like 4 o'clock in the morning or some crazy hour? Tina says, then you have to change your name, channel, then perhaps that is discrimination against your spirit. What? I don't understand what you're trying to say there, Tina. You're very welcome, Chihuahua. Okay, so it's 2:30 a.m. where Rosie is. I think she's in Australia, Rosie. Oh, Sydney. Oh, an Aussie from Sydney, 2:29 a.m. Woohoo! Okay, so with that, you guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If anything else does come up, we're going to hope to get this done by today. I'm going to start getting some stuff together. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you all. Oh, hello, Sandra from Illinois. I'm going to let you guys all go. Shadow of Lotus, hello, hello. We're just wrapping up here. We will get this together. There's no link yet, Chris. I will put the link. Excuse me. I will put the link on a community post. I may actually even jump on another live to show you that link. But it will definitely be in, if you go to my YouTube channel under the community posts, it will be there. Once we've got it all ready to go, we will post it there. And then you guys can share it out like hell from there. Okay, so once you go to the actual affidavit, got affidavit on the brain. Once you actually get to the petition, there will be some way of you sharing it there, whether you copy the link from your browser or there could be a copy link right in the petition where you can share it out on social media, etc. So we get it out all across the world. Okay, and Des wants me to wait a minute so she can drop my links. Don't drop the membership link because I've disabled the memberships too. So again, quickly, if you guys are wondering why you got a refund on your memberships, that's why, because I disabled memberships. I disabled all monetization until I get my income tax stuff straightened out. Oh, we have no emojis either. Oh, yeah, that comes with the memberships, right? And from what I'm told, you guys, is that once I activate the memberships again, you guys will be at the level that you were when I deactivated it. I don't know if you're going to have to rejoin it or whatever, but if not, don't worry. I will make it right with you guys. For all of the ones that were members. Darn those minions. So yes, thank you for all coming out. Yeah, the blood-sucking taxman, I'm telling you. Well, it's kind of like my own fault, Chihuahua, because I didn't file, I guess, correctly, filing a foreign income. They asked my occupation. I said I talked to spirits. They didn't like it, sent it directly to audit. So there you go. Um, I think I may, Rosie, jump on Sunday, maybe do a one card pull for people, stuff like that, but there will be no payments. I'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. But I will be doing things like that to, you know, I still want to be able to do that for you guys. I know with it being free, I would be overwhelmed. So I will be, you know, doing some for the regulars. And I will pick maybe one or two or three in between for newcomers. But it's just like I would be inundated with free read requests. So I think for my regulars, I will do some card pulls or something and pick randomly others that are new to the channel for whichever one I'm drawn to, I will pick and give them one too. But I'm going to do something. Like I said, I want to keep this as normal as possible as to what I had before. Okay, so there's the links, you guys. I'm going to let you guys go now. I've got a crap load of stuff to get going on here. Looking at the merch now. Wow. Yeah, I've got some pretty cool stuff there. Okay, so you guys have a very good weekend. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, because what I may do tomorrow is, I don't know what time yet. I'm not going to give a time. I'm just going to do a pop-up live where I will be doing some free polls for you guys. Okay, how about that? Does that sound fair? I know, Darlene. I appreciate you, darling. It's just to be able to put it out on my channel, hon, I do have to protect myself from being sued. So I'm sorry. Yes, you too, Nana. Where we go one, we go all. I love that. Nana, where we go one, we go all. Okay, hello everybody. Sorry about that. My internet went offline. I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know if you guys heard me cursing and swearing. No, I didn't mute anybody. Can you guys hear me now? Making contacts. Can you guys hear me now? Okay. Oh, thank God you guys didn't hear me cursing and swearing. I was peeved. My internet went out. And it looks like we're having a storm here, so that's what I think it's because of. So I'm gonna end this now. You heard me all the way in Michigan. I'm gonna end this now, you guys, because I feel like the internet's gonna go out again. We're getting thunderstorms and that. So I'm glad that you guys could still chit chat and whatever while I was gone. I hope you guys got everything that you needed so we can get this up and running. We're gonna get that hopefully done between me and Des today. No, I didn't mute anybody. I lost internet. So, okay, so I am going to let you guys go for now. Um, and watch for the post. You have to be subscribed, so please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you will be made aware when I put in the community post the link to our petition that you guys can share out all over the place and sign and whatnot. Okay, okay, Des. Yes, call me after, and we'll get this put together. Yeah. So with that being said, before my internet cuts out again, I'm going to let you all go. And please watch for that either today or tomorrow. We will be posting, it will be on my YouTube page on the community tab. So you scroll across the top, there'll be a community tab. It will be under there. I may also jump back on a live to share it out. Okay, so until then, you guys, please take care of yourselves. Thank you for joining. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you, Des, for everything that you do. I can't thank you enough. Love you to the moon and back. Love all you guys. Respect all you guys. Please take care of yourselves, and we will chat again very soon. Okay? Bye-bye for now.